Hi guys, Joseph here. Today we're doing another Joseph car video, and today we're doing another video on my friend's 2004 Volvo V70 2.5 turbo, and today we're going to be replacing the engine breather PCV system. So, well, there's no history when it's ever been changed. It's inflating gloves and I'll do a glove test, so it needs replacement. And ignoring a PCV is bad. It can cause oil leaks, blow out oil seals. The worst one is if it blows out the dreaded rear main seal, rear crank seal, because if the rear main seal blows, it's a complete gearbox and clutch removal. You probably need to replace the clutch if that seal goes, because the oil's going to contaminate the clutch. So if that rear main seal goes, you probably would need to change the clutch. And it's a gearbox out, big job overall. Just for a cheap seal, it's going to be an expensive job. Even doing it yourself, because you'd have to change a clutch. So it's always good to keep an eye on your PCV system to make sure that it doesn't end up in this state. So every now and then, anytime you go and buy yourself a used P2 Volvo Petrol, the petrol models, don't really know about the diesel, but definitely with the petrol or gasoline, come along with a latex glove, stick it on the oil filler cap. It should run on vacuum, so the glove should suck in the oil filler cap. If it inflates, that system is blocked. So yeah, always inspect that, because if it's blocked, your crankcase can be pressurized, and all your oil seals at risk. It could even blow your cam seals out, which is going to completely ruin your timing belt, and you'd have to change the timing belt. So it can cause all kinds of problems. So if it's blocked, replace it. But anyway, guys, let's get down to the car right now. Guys, to start this PCV change, well, actually, what I'm going to do first, I want to show you what a bad PCV looks like. So I'm going to pop the hood. You're not actually going to tell, but I'm going to show you how to check with a glove. So what you do, locate the oil filler cap. I'm going to go and quickly start the engine, and I'll show you. Engine started, guys. Take the oil filler cap off. One, you can actually see it blowing out. Glove test. This should suck itself into the engine. No, it isn't. You look. Look at that. That is not good. There you go. That's through the bad kick. I'm going to quickly go and show you what a good PCV looks like. I've got my 2002 Volvo V70. Right guys, this is what a good PCV looks like. I'm pretty sure this is a good one, so let's show you what a good one looks like. Right. Watch this. That is what a good PCV looks like. There you go. Sucks the glove right in. That's what a good one looks like. Right guys, now we know this car has obviously got a bad PCV box. We know now that we do need to change it on this car. Ah, looks like somebody's been in here before. That should be a one-time use clamp if that was original. This ain't, it's been touched before on this car. But anyway, we need to start off by getting the cross brace off, get the turbo tube off, and the plastic covers. And the fuel rail. So anyway, we get all these covers removed off, we get the top brace removed. Now let's get started. Right guys, so first we're going to start by removing the 14mm bolts. Other side, repeat. once done, you thread them back in this hole once the brace is released, because I don't want to lose track. I'm now going to just go and pause and just do the other side. Right guys, I'm going to start by getting this engine mat off, take the rubber cap off the end, put that somewhere to put back later. Now use a 19mm on that side, and yeah, I've taken both the bolts off. Put it on the end of the bolts so you don't use it. Now once you get this out, this will lift straight out. Right guys, we're now going to remove the turbo tube. We want to start by undoing these Torx 25 screws. Quite loose. Anyway, let's get those out. Put it where you won't lose it. I'll thread it back in once the pipe's out. And one more Torx 25 up here. Yeah, one more T25 up. Now I'm just going to go and grab a 7mm to undo the clamps. Right guys, now to remove the banjo fitting, it's a 7mm. Squeeze in there. Snag to get in, but once you're in there, it's alright. We'll loosen it off. Once it's loose, you should be able to start rotating it. Yeah, mine's not loose yet. I'm going to pause till it's loose. Now at the back, there is one more connector. There is two Jubilee clips. You just need to remove the top one. Get it nice and loose till it's all loose. There we go. Now lift the wiring harness out. Now this pipe should pull out. There you go. Pulled at the bottom. Sneak it out the top. There we go. We're out. There you go. Just put that aside. Move everything else. Now we get the spark plug cover removed and injector cover. And so I'll get the injector cover off. And no, they're T30, not T25, before I forget. Right, now let's get the injector cover removed. Torx 30. Now on the other side, T30 again. Don't lose your screws. Might be an idea to thread them back in. Don't do this with a too hot engine because it's going to burn you. Now lift it out. Lift these out. Now let's get the top covers off. Yes, all of them need to come off on this, including the timing cover. I'm actually going to pause till I've undone them all because my camera has a tendency to stop. Right guys, I've got the cover screws all undone, so now you just remove the timing cover. That all looks like that stayed bone dry. New cam belt I put on this lot. No oil. Stayed dry. Yeah, take your oil filler cap just to help you get that out of there. That's about it. Now you want to start removing the electrical connect. Start by removing the coolant temperature sensor. Anyway, we get the electric injector connectors out anyway. Yes. Get that out. There's a plastic tab. And press that. And get all that out of your way. Guys, that looks like this looks to be a returnless system, but I don't see any fuel pressure sensor down there. I don't know why. But anyway, looks like we've got to take this snag out. So you squeeze the two tabs and push down. Now the green and should. Now I'm going to undo these two bolts and get the rail removed. Find out what size that is. Well, anyway, what we can do before things we can remove, it's going to need to come off anyway. Let's just pull this fresh air hose up. There you go, let's get that out of the way. That's one less. Now we're getting a bit more room under here now. Well, anyway, let's get the fuel rail off, guys. Because this rail needs to come out. There you go, let's get the other bolt out. get the line out. I go one good press and it pops right out. Let's not pour too much fuel. There you go, some's popped out. There you go. Right guys, we need to get this pipe under here removed. So I've got one of these horrible one-time use clips. So what you've got to do is break it. There you go. Once you get that off, that will pull out. There you go. This actually will be replacing that pipe. I hate these one-time use clips. Hate them, they're horrible. But anyway, that's that removed. Now we need to remove this PCV, this vacuum line. This looks like it's been put in with a 10. That would normally be a one-time use as well. Let's try this tool out. This is 7mm. Utmost Jubilee. Right, now we're going to remove this vacuum hose from the manifold. Yeah, nice and loose. That's enough. There's another tool I'm using. There we go. We'll have to go and get some pliers and try and get that pipe removed. Right, to loosen this pipe using grips, you start. There you go. Breather hose removed. Now I think we need to try and get ourselves down to the... There should be a 7mm to the throttle down here. To the throttle body down here. There it is, buried down there. I'll get down there in a sec. There's a 7mm, and then we'll go and get that loosened. Right guys, I've just loosened the 7mm Jubilee. It's very difficult to get it, but it turned out to be there in this case. Once loose, you have to just sort of push it down. Try and crack it loose. Here we go. We're off the throttle body. Now we've got to undo the manifold. First, let's take the dipstick out. It should just pull straight out once you undo that bolt there. So first what I'll do is get a rag and I'll wipe the dipstick over and pull it out. Right guys, it's a 10mm bolt for the dipstick tube. It looks like it's going to have to come out on this one. Probably should have used ½ inch or something to break this one loose, so you don't want to get me ½ inch out, so I'll just throw this on.
So right, you got to sort of feel your way down there. You got to sort of follow it into the engine. Maybe in that position this may just come out, so we'll try leaving it there if it's not going to budge. Now I've got to work out what size it is to break all those loose, and then we should be out of here. Right, it looks to be a 10mm to loosen the intake manifold. The top ones come out all the way. You only have to loosen the bottom ones. This manifold will pop out of here. Not these bolts. Don't lose them. Throw that back in. No, that's in there. Actually, looks like that. I'm going to pause so I've just sorted the bolts there. Right guys, I've been working on this a while. You remove the top 3 bolts, loosen the 3 lower ones. The one down here was a nightmare. I had to try and use this and I kept slipping off the bolt. Don't know how I'm going to get that back on there, but I've got it loose from the end. Now there is going to be one more snag in your way. A few more snags when you lift up. You leave the dipstick off to the side. That's too tight. That needs loosening. This should be loose enough. Now it should let the manifold come out. There's going to be one snag in your way. I'm aware of that. The snags are going to sort of there. So right, you can have one thing in your way. There's a little banjo fitting down here. These brakes, and we're going to replace that, but I need to go and get a 17mm stubby to loosen the banjo bolt before we can get this manifold off. Right guys, got the banjo thing. I'm starting to realise it may have been easier to take the power steering pump off serpentine belt and thermostat housing. Maybe that's what I'd recommend you do if you do this job, is to drain the coolant and take all that off. Obviously protect your alternator, but honestly I've got that off. I don't think this proper way is easy. It's actually adding time to the job really. If you want to get this done quick, it's quicker to do it that way. So now we got that out. Right, first let's get that hold up piece side. You can have one more. You lift up, you can have one more snag. And that's just the electronic throttle body connector. I've discovered this one is a Bosch. Here's the these connectors are a bit stubborn. Trying to detach that wiring, it's not. So yeah, it looks like I could just pop that off with a screwdriver. Oh, there it is. Looks like that loom could just be popped off there. Snag out. And now the final is the throttle body connector. I'm actually going to pause until I get that connector undone. Right guys, got throttle body disconnected. Plug appears to be broke, so I'll have to do a repair on that at the end. But anyway, got that disconnected. We're not actually going to remove it, because you don't really need to remove it from the vehicle fully. You just need to move it out of the way. And what you can do, there you go, just out of the way. And now you can clearly see what its engine looks like. That actually looks not bad, that one. Not bad. So now, you actually probably won't get this gasket out. I could try. You're not actually going to get this one out. Right guys, we've got the intake manifold off, and this part gets blocked, but Volvo don't sell this part. You need just this part here. For the 5-cylinder engine, Volvo sell it as a complete line like this. You do not need to change that. But they do sell this part separately for the 6-cylinder engine. So I've bought one for a 6-cylinder here. Right guys, one thing I realised I need to quickly do, we need to get this insulator off the plastic piece. So all you need to do is make a slit. It should have been a straight cut. There you go. Take that off. Don't make, I will tape that up in the end. Yeah, so there you go, you take that off. Right guys, I've just went to pull the Jubilee clip off of that piece, and it's just come straight off. Now we need to start getting it off the line, so I need to put our coolant pinch off on. Pinch off plier, some pinch. Got a good pinch on that. Now that'll get one end of the pipe out. Coolant does run through it. Try and keep the mess to a minimum. Now let's get you in position. And we're going to pull it off. And these mole grips on the other. Yeah, these have a tendency to break. Just gonna pause here. Just giving it a good tug and it's popped off. This line looks knackered to me. Isn't broken, but it's probably blocked. I can imagine that being quite blocked up. But anyway, let's get our new one this is actually a Volvo part. That's the part number, if you want to get that big part. It's got a T6 engine, but it should fit. Yeah, don't worry, it is the same part. I know it looks longer, but actually is the same length. Let me eye it up. Slightly different, but will fit with a bit of snagging. It will go in. Don't you worry. It will fit. I'm actually going to pause and just push those lines onto it. Right guys, let's start detaching the hoses. I'll probably have to change a camera battery in a minute. Anyway, we're going to start removing these one-time use clip clamps. There you go. That's that pulled off. Now this pipe will
I can see the working is here. The one with the ovals on.
There you go. Right guys, just changed my camera battery, and now what we're going to do is just undo that clamp at the bottom. There's a clamp just under the new you can destroy this because we've got another one put on this. We can destroy these. Just getting it out. I hate these one-time use clamps. I haven't got time for that. There we go. That's how you get it off. And the whole thing will lift. I need that out of my way. They will seal. I'm going to clamp, but they will seal up. The pinch off pliers out of my way. See, what we're just going to sort of do is sort of help it up. It started to move. I'm actually going to pause until I get this removed. Right guys, so now what we do is we got it undone. Got this part lifted off the top. Ah, that's terrible inside there. That looks sludged, so looks like it's time to change this one. It looks like this part, I think we're reusing this part, so I'm not sure. I haven't looked at my kit properly. I hate these one-time use clamps. Oh, there's the knock sensor. There you go, let's unstick this one. There we go. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to actually just check my kit before I take this end off, guys. I'm going to pause for a sec. Right, guys. That bit is supplied by my kit, but anyway, we're going to undo the 10mm. Not that tight. This attaches it to the vehicle. We're just going to now detach it from the engine. This is known as positive crankcase ventilation. There you go, put that in a safe spot. It looks like this. I'll break that off as well. There you go. Am I missing a bolt? It looks. I'm just going to go and check something quick. Right, guys, at this point I actually had to pull my dipstick out, just give it one firm pull, make sure the rubber seal stays with it. So I'm going to actually probably reuse my gasket. There you go. Yeah, I don't like removing dipsticks if I can help it, but at this point I went out my Wadex to try and now the last bolt is right at the bottom, and I don't know how you get to it. I assume extension, and I realise there is another bolt I didn't see. I'm gonna have to just work that one out, guys. I'll just have to pause. Right, guys, talk about make cars easy to work on. This is what I've had to do to get to the bottom PCV bolt. I've had to thread a bunch of extensions under the box to get leverage on it. I have practiced those. Not sure how well you'll see it. If I put the light down there, you might see it. Should hopefully see what my ratchet is on. I'm just going to pause until I've got the bolt out. Right guys, I've got the bolt as loose as far as I'm... No, I haven't. I thought I did. That piece can come off. Get that out of your way anyway. This is terrible. Really bad, to be honest. I'll put that there for the minute. But it figures this bolt is tough to remove. I'm actually going to pull until I'm sure. I thought I had it out, but I didn't. Right guys, now I've got that pipe off, bolt out. This should detach itself from the vehicle. Oh boy. That is clogged. Proper clogged. There you go. Let's just put that on the side. Put that there for a sec. And now, just pull this front and get this bit of rubber off. Or metal, whatever it's called. There we go. You've got a new piece, got a new one of these as well, the fitment. So that is that removed. It just fits on the bottom there. Don't worry if your new ones will look slightly different. Now what we do is compare parts. Check that our new one is the same as the old one. You can have a look, but we've got to just check that it's all clean inside the engine before we... No, she's the same part. Right, let's get the new box right here. And now let's compare it against the old part. The only difference I see is that piece. With that piece on it. It's the same part. So that can be installed. I've got to just clean it all out in there first. I'm just going to pause here. Right guys, I've just put a bit of compressed air in that bottom hole. You should feel a bit of air come out of that. If you don't feel air coming out of that, you will have to drop the sump pan and clear all the passageways up. But luckily, I felt some air, so we don't have to go any further with it. But now it is time to put the box back on. So I'm going to get the new PCV box. Make sure you do push this part on first, on the hole, down in the engine. There you go. Looks like I'm nearly there. I'm actually going to pause until it's on there. Right guys, I've just pushed this piece onto the box. This is the extra pipe that goes on the side. And you sort of push it up against the engine there. This one was actually too, so I had to find another Jubilee, but I found one in my garage. Yeah. Now with this, it's a 10. Yeah. With your flat-ended bit, you could snug them up. I'll go and find a socket, and I'm just going to snug those off, and then I'll get back to you guys. Right guys, now we're just going to push the top line on. And then you will start snugging these 7mm. Right. Don't over tighten it, you're only snugging this into plastic. I'm just going to pause until I've snugged that. Right guys, here's the next part for this breather, and this is the top hose. It runs from here up to there, so what we're going to do is just mount the light. So it's getting dark. Once I've got this mounted, I'm actually going to call it a night, I think. It's getting really late now. There we go. This is the pipe. New pipe. And this pipe basically there we go. Check it's the correct part. Yes it is, but obviously yes, we've got to put a Jubilees on that. So yeah, I will have to. I won't clamp it up there though, because I need to put the manifold on. Now what we can do though is clamp it down here. Yeah. So what you do is put the Jubilee clamps on it. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause until I've just snugged that one up as well, and then I'm going to pause here. And I think after I've snugged that, I'm going to call it a night, because it is getting extremely late. Well, that's currently where our V70 is sitting right now while we're doing this one. There's our 2002 one in the road. And here's our 2003 Saab 95. Currently got this one off the road for now. Yes, it's got, if anyone has looked the number plate up there, probably know this car is sawned off the road and obviously got no MOT. And to anyone interested, it also has no insurance, so it's completely off the road. It's got no tax, no MOT or insurance at the moment, so it's keeping it off the road. Yeah, so that's where we are with the Saab. Got it off the road for now. But anyway, just put that pipe on. I'm just snug it up, and I'll be back. So right, we'll be back. For you, it'll be in the same videos, but for me, it's going to be a whole night. But it'll just be from one phase away to the next season, so next part. So I'm just going to pause right now. Hey guys, it's the next day, and I wondered why this nipple didn't go in all the way. This bit snapped inside there, and to get it out, you can thread a screw in there. I threaded just a little wood screw there, and once you've got it threaded in enough, you can pull it out with a pair of pliers, and that will pull it right out. And now the new one has gone in all the way. And yes, I went to Halfords and yes, I went for a 12mm Petrol pipe clips. It's a 10mm, 10 to 12mm one. That's the one I got from Halfords. Yeah, and that's what fits on. That's a Jubilee clip. So now what we're gonna do is I've gone for some larger ones that will clamp around. 2 for these 2 pipes. I guess I'll have to get my pinch off, clamp them off again, and put those on to get this all secured. Oh, and for this piece, you use this pipe, you will have to wrap it in some tape. I'll just use any tape I've got. It will cover, just to protect it. I see this bit quite necessary to put on, so I will be piece on. It will cover mostly. It will cover most of it. There you go. And we'll cover the remaining ends with some tape. There it is. It does fit on. I'll go and grab some electrical tape and I'll just tape all that up. But anyway, what we're going to do is put on the Jubilee clips. I'm going to pause and just get them on. Right guys, we've sorted the nipple out. I'll tape that up in a minute. It fits okay. Well, now we're going to get our gasket removed. Put some tissue in the cylinder so you don't get any cleaning, because you've got to clean the gasket surface before you stick a new gasket on. So these two bolts have got to come out. The third one you can't actually get out, so you'll have to cut the gasket. As long as you cut it where the bolt hole is, it won't be a problem. It'll work with a small cut in it. And you'll have to cut your new one as well. Now, for the final bolt, so yeah, you can pull it, slide it along a bit. I will get my cutters. I'll just try and get in there to cut this gasket. You only cut it in one area. It's a paper old gasket. Just fuel line appears to be in my way. There you go. When you get good enough, it should push out. There you go. Yeah, that is rotten. But now what you've got to do is match up. So I can go and get my new gasket. Yeah, you make the cut in the same area. We're going to go and compare that. That's it. I'm going to go and pause for a sec. New gasket. I know we've got to clean the surface, but we'll go to cut first, so I can then memorise it. So it's a bit early probably to be cutting, but I'm going to do it. Now you just want to just compare to make sure you've got the right gasket. Yes, it is correct. Now what we're going to do is just cut it down there so you can slip it on your bolt. There you go. Just make a small cut like that. It's not going to affect the gasket. It is still sealed. We're just doing that so we can get it over the bolt. That's the only section. I'm going to put this aside and clean the surface. But there you go. Now we've got our cut. We'll be able to push it on, no problem. Right guys, just given the surface here clean with a wire brush, done the manifold as well. Now with the new gasket, now what you can simply do, that's a bit bent, straighten it out, that'll be alright. Now for the incision cut we made, there we go. Now, grab a bolt. And then another one we can stick on. That'll sort of keep the... Be careful not to cross thread. Now, what we need to sort of do is now grab some crush washers. Well, I'm actually going to reuse my original banjo bolt here. I know that's plugged up, but I could probably clear that. We clear it out. I want to go and pause and go and clean that. Right guys, had to do a lot of extensive stripping to get this banjo fitting. I had to loosen the alternator off and completely remove the power steering pump. If you want to know how to take the power steering pump off, I've actually got a video on how to replace the power steering pump, so you better go and watch that video and then obviously come back to this one. Obviously it is on that car over there, but it's pretty much the same procedure on this. But anyway, and to get the alternator off, I did pull the lower intercooler pipe off. It runs in like that. Then in the intercooler down there, I'll put that back on at the end, and then run the big charge pipe over the top. But anyway, now what we're going to do is start getting some tools and start putting the inlet manifold bolts in. There you go. I'm going to start every bolt off by hand so you don't cross thread it. So yeah, you want to lift that. So what I'm going to have to do is sort of guide it in. I'm actually going to pause until I've got all the bolts in. Right guys, it's the next day again. Today we're going to refit the fuel rail. So undo these two bolts. Yeah, and we're going to refit the injector. I've lubed with WD-40 first. Yeah. Some might want help with seating. To seat these injectors back in. This one's not sinking. There you go. Once you push that in, you thread your bolts in. You probably should change the seals. I haven't got seals, so I'm just going to reuse them for now. So yeah, that sort of automatically connects on this one. Now what we're going to do is relocate all our wiring loom. Don't worry, you can't mix them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the final is, well, the coolant temp sensor, and then the cam sensor. And that sort of locates itself there. I'm going to pause until I've got all that snugged. Right guys, the weather ain't the best, but I've just put the Jubilee clip on this top pipe, and now we're going to start putting our beauty covers on. First we're going to start with a timing cover. Then the rest of the beauty covers can go back on. There we go. Screws are a bit wet. Got Torx 30 bit, we're going to snug it down. No real torque spec for this. Let's put this one down. I'm going to pause until all the rest are down. Right, next to go on is the injector cover. So basically just line the holes up. Before we snug it fully, let's line the other one up. That's that. Now, just like the final thing to go on is the turbo tube. I'm just gonna go grab my turbo tube, then the cross brace across the top. Right, now we're gonna put the turbo tube back on and line it all up. I'm gonna snug the back Jubilee clip. So here we go. Right guys, I've snugged the torque screws and now we're going to put the fresh air pipe in. That goes in the air box. Line it up with a square hole. That's that in. Now I'm going to go and get my cross brace. Right guys, now it's time to put the cross brace in. Here we go. Now we can start the bolts in. You can take note of the witness marks if you want, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. All it is, it's a torsion bar that sort of prevents engine from tilting back under acceleration. It sort of just holds the engine still. It's just really for the engine. It's not, don't think it does much cornering, but it's really just to support the engine. I don't see some people running two cross braces. I don't see much point in it, to be honest. Be careful. Always start a bolt by hand so you don't cross thread it. Because cross threading bolts, just believe me, it's not fun. When you cross thread bolts, it's not fun. I'm going to pause and do the other side. Right guys, got all the pipes on. I snugged the turbo tube up. New PCV fitted, engine running now. Moment of truth, love test. Does it blow or stuff now? Let's see. There you go. You watch that. There's something more. There you go guys, looks like problem fixed. Now we're going to pause. Right guys, we're going to plug VEDA into this vehicle to do an adaptation of the throttle unit. We know this runs, but I'm going to quickly do it. Plus there's other things I want to check out. The alarms triggered on this car, that indicates by that flashing light. So yeah, I'm not sure if any more faults have appeared in this car because the display's broken on this car. I'm going to tell you my alarm's triggered. No message display is broken on this. That's literally it. Right guys, got VEDA connected, and now what we're going to do, we're going to go over to vehicle communications. You're at the vehicle communications tab. Then we go to ECM. Wait for it to load. Advanced. Engine control model. Adaptation of the throttle unit. If your vehicle's older than 2002, you won't have to do this step, because you'll have a Magneti Marelli throttle body. The ignition precision 2. Are there any diagnostic travel codes stored? Let's see. No diagnostic travel codes are stored, so we hit no. Ignition off, ignition on, read off the parameters. Ignition on, engine off, battery voltage above 10 volts, unaffected. The car must be stationary, no vehicle speed signal. There we go. So what we're going to do is, it said ECM, adaptation of the throttle unit running should go from yes to no. That's already on no. We got 11 point above 10 volts. We're above that. I'll double check that. Adaptation front unit okay. Running, no, that's good. So that's all done. And that is pretty much it. And you're pretty much done there. That's all done. So now I'm going to pause here. Actually, we could see if there's any fault codes quickly. Let's go to fault trace. Let's go in the fault trace section. Let's see what faults are in it. Shouldn't be too many. We'll see. Let's wait for it. Oh, the common UEM siren communication fault. Very common. Don't worry, that's the siren that's gone there. Nothing to worry about in that one. Ah, the glass brake sensor. The alarm went off on this. Actually, I'm going to go and quickly check that. I think it's REM you check. No, we need to go back to vehicle communications. Alarm went off on this morning. CEM actually. Reading off the alarm calls. It all just says MMS1. Yeah. Well, there you go. I'm now going to pause here.
Right guys, we're going to end off this video, and this PCV system is working really well on this car now. As you saw, it's sucking the gloves in. The owner is happy with it. The owner's actually taken the car now. It's not actually at mine. The owner's got the car back now, and my friend is enjoying the car. So really, never overlook the PCV system. When I did the cam belt on this, I did have to change the front crank seal on it, and I say that seal blew because the PCV being blocked probably blew out that seal. So yeah, you can guarantee the mess it can cause ignoring one, so don't ignore it. If it's inflating gloves, do not ignore a PCV. But anyway, I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up, as that helps YouTube recommend my content. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any content like this, and share this video with your family and your friends, and have a nice day.